Good evening. This is the Board of Public Works meeting for Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. It is now 6 p.m. We have an agenda which includes an executive session at the beginning. After we will have read and accepted the agenda, we will then adjourn into executive session. Upon the arrival of the town council, if he's not here, we'll take care of some of our business. We had an appointment in Betts Island, and that has been canceled for tonight by them. We have the following action items. Contract 2022-07, a change order for additional sewer repair work, and that is basically for a failed section, so therefore it's under the emergency. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And further discussion of our PFAS draft letter that we want to send to residents near wells, an encroachment issue in Matuxet Woods, the indirect and direct costs under our action items, and town wastewater costs, discussing trying to approach on a 60-40 split. You wanted to pass over the minutes, correct, Anne Marie?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to pass over the minutes. We'll have Jimmy Kent provide the operational superintendent's report, and I will fill in anything associated with 965 Plain Street progress. That is our agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We will now adjourn to executive session to consider potential litigation, and we will return to complete the agenda upon the finish of the executive session. So, camera off.
Where go?
Very good. Okay. So our appointment, Bob, we went through the agenda. The appointment tonight canceled themselves. Okay.
So we're right on schedule.
So we're going to start with the contract 2022-07, change order for the addition to sewer work. Mr. Procaccino.
Okay, status of the project right now, the Force Main and Plymouth Ave, the pump stations are online today. So we'll be taking the bypass out of, this is currently on Plymouth Ave, out over the next 2 days, and finishing up at the pump station. So all the temporary pumping will end up coming out. They'll be bringing in their trucks tomorrow to remove the temporary. So that contractor, basically met his commitment date of the July 4th weekend. So far, so good. So this is this change order. Tom Reynolds had asked me to follow up on trying to get that break that we had in the sewer, blockage that we had in the sewer, which we did respond to, but it was a collapsed pipe. Actually, the top of the pipe in Second Road for a section had collapsed, and we had to slip like a 6-inch piece of pipe in between the two ends, with the idea that we had to go back and repair that or replace that. So he wanted me to move on this ASAP, so Bernice gave us a proposal, and they're prepared to get started on this. I did have to go to Conservation on the 6th. I think they're going to consider our request to be able to work on this on Second Road. There is some wetlands within like 80 feet or so, and we're requesting an exemption because it's utility work within the street, and it can be exempted. So hopefully I'll have that go ahead, and with your permission tonight, we want to use the emergency line on FY23, and then go back in the fall and the town meeting, and Tom has some other issues that he wants to address too. One was Island Street. We've got a section of pipe there that we had to do repairs this last February, I think it was. but there's a section there he wants to replace too as well. So he would go back and try to get funding for that and perhaps replenish his emergency reserve by using retained earnings if they were available. Bernice gave us a breakdown, and it was for 270 linear feet. It's basically from Ocean Street to Everson, and I use, it's a section between Plymouth Ave and Ocean Street. I don't know if everybody knows where Everson is. So that section we were going to replace. We only had $100,000 in our emergency line items, so that's what we plan on replacing. That section was the failed section, and maybe down the road we'll be looking at the rest of it. But for now, we want to get that piece done because we know it's failed, and we've got a Band-Aid on it right now. So we're requesting that the board authorize this change order to contract 2022-07 with Grenice, and the price was $91,400 to be added to the existing contract. And like I said, they're pretty much done with their work. Just got a little bit of bypass work out in front and cleanup.
So basically, the timing between now and the beginning of the next fiscal year works out.
I can't use, I
Right.
can't
Well,
use
you only have
any
3 days to go.
reserves now, so.
What happened to 2022 funding for bridges? Did we spend all that?
No, there is some left, I guess. It got committed by, through the various expenses that we had. I think we had like the generator, but then Tom went back to town meeting and got some of it replenished. But there's not enough time in the year to be able to use that 22 money, so it'll roll back into retained earnings.
Yeah.
We have to actually do the work
Yeah.
in the fiscal year that we,
So this is going to happen after July 1st?
It's going to happen July 1st, we have to use 23 money.
Basically, the accountant's hitting
But
us.
yeah, but 2022 will close the revenue and that will go in retained earnings. You
Right.
can use that.
Exactly.
Makes
So there is some
I
retained
understand.
earnings.
Yeah, I understand it.
I have read through this, and I had discussions both with Ken Ryan and Rod on the subject, so I'm okay with it. John?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just
Bob,
said that.
any questions?
I'm okay.
Okay. I will read the motion then.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep. Thank you and the staff. A motion to authorize change order number 1 to contract 2022-07 with N. Grenice and Sons Incorporated to replace a 270 linear foot section of sewer in Second Road for the amount of $91,400, with the chairman or designee to sign the change order when the documents are prepared. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, our next item is our draft PFAS letter. And did-
Well, Dave, I have no problem with the letter at all, so town council even has.
Yeah, I guess you would send a copy, or someone had to town council?
The
He said he was fine with it.
superintendent did.
Oh, Tom did, that's right, he did say Tom, I'm sorry.
And
So he's fine
the
with it.
reason why is because of what we talked about.
Right, yeah. So, anyway, well, I guess the action item would be to approve and sign the letter, and I guess the only question I guess we'd have is, obviously, we'll have a vote with the majority of the board to approve it. Do we wish to have individual signatures, or do we want to have just a single signature of the chairman, or designate?
Whatever you want, Mr. Chairman.
I'm good either way. Rob, any
I would
preference?
like to hear what town council says before we we
He
actually
already
vote on
said
it.
it.
Before the executive session, he said he was fine with the letter, he thought, he didn't want to change
Okay,
anything.
fine. Fine.
Excuse me, Jane, is that Bob's?
Which letter?
Bob's letter? I think that's the one that he brought today, I'm not sure though. I think that's the one Tom sent. I'm not
I worked
sure.
on this the last week,
Yeah.
trying to get as much websites that are possible that.
So
give you a
basically,
better
I
understanding.
believe that this is, the two-page piece is the one.
Okay.
Right, the two
Okay.
So
pages.
that is the one that we will have signed.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Okay.
So I move
when do we
that-
meet next?
I believe it's the 11th? No. Is it
July
11th,
6th.
Anne Marie?
What-
Next meeting?
Excuse me, oh,
July 6th.
July 11th.
July 11, yep. Yep.
Why do you not want to know that?
What's the question, John? Bob?
No, it's the same thing, is if we want to have the signatures, you know.
Yeah, we
can-
I mean, there's
I
no
sent-
particular reason to not have everybody's signature on it.
Oh, let's sign it. and get it
Yeah,
over
we'll sign
with.
it. Well, so what we could do is, we just can have town hall and sign it.
Did you,
I gave the Word document to.
Okay, so Anne Marie can-
Anne Marie.
modify the Word document to have the signature of each of the board members?
Lines, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Chairman, vice chairman, member. Okay.
Yep.
So the motion is to approve the letter with the minor modifications for signature. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Andy seconded.
Good. As long as Ann's, we're good with it, we're good with it. Okay. The next item on the list is the encroachment letter up on Holyoke, at 108 Holyoke Avenue, up there in Miss Sacchetti's neighborhood. And this was sent to Mr. William Evans and Ms. Linda Evans at 108 Holyoke Avenue, and it was advising him that he has infringed and encroached on town property and is using it in an appropriate fashion. And I believe the last time we were here, we were talking about how we would prepare to have barriers that would prevent any further access by this gentleman into that area and fencing off. So I don't think, other than we don't have a plan yet from staff for that. And I guess that would have to be developed and then run past the building inspector to make sure he's okay with it. There's no immediate wetlands, so I don't think conservation has any say in the matter. I guess, Jim, I guess I would task you to maybe reach out to Fence Outfit to see about what it would, what perimeter fencing would cost us, in different styles, so that engineering can proceed to look at it and decide what should be
Is
done.
chain link all right? Because we have some chain link.
Yeah.
Yeah, chain link is fine by me.
Has Brian from Stenbeck and Taylor been up there to do any staking around so we know where what is?
I had a survey done by Millbrook Survey about, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
We know where the
all that.
encroachments are.
You do?
Yeah.
So he can provide you with a survey copy for
All right.
blocking off. And most of that is oriented from the center line of the road, if I remember right, isn't it?
I'm not sure, I don't think so.
Okay, I thought I was
So
at the time, but
what we plan is fence, just a fence that runs along this guy's property?
I believe we would have to fence from the road intersection all the way up and over the top at the very least, based
Go
on what
across
he
the
has
top.
done, what he has basically done in the past.
Right, because he's got fire pits. and
Because he
everything else
goes,
up there.
where they had the Patuxent Woods had their septic system at the top of the hill,
Yeah.
he was using a lot of that acreage. The last time I was in there was with Sean back in 2020.
So you want it right adjacent to his property? There will be a jog because he did get some sort of adverse possession prior to the developers when they prior to us.
So there was a pre-existing adverse possession from a private party?
I have all the
Yeah.
paperwork there.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, research on all of this has been done before, so I don't see a need to do anything other than to get a final plan in place
Right.
and proceed, once we know the pricing and the new fiscal year is upon us, so we have some money.
It's not going to be a straight shot, there'll be jogs.
Yeah, understood. There'll be the fence, and, I mean, we have to maintain the what is it, 18-inch minimum, I think, for maintenance purposes on a property line. The only thing I would say is, well, you said there was an adverse possession. Did anyone ever look to see if this had been land-courted property? Because if it had been land-courted property, you cannot take land-courted property by adverse possession.
Some of Thomas's land was land court, but I don't know if this portion was or not.
Yeah, I mean, that would be worth researching before we actually proceed with the final item, just to, ask town
But
council to
it
take a
came
look
out of
at it.
land court.
Huh?
It
I
came
think it
out,
came out of land court.
yeah, it was privately owned, and then he did.
Yeah, but the fact that it's privately owned property, if it has been land-courted, you cannot take it by adverse possession. At least that's what Mr. Marzelli told me about my property on Outlook Road, because it had been land-courted back when I was using his services for a refinance. And one of my neighbors actually does infringe his sidewalk a little bit on me, but I knew it from the day I bought the property, because it was, I know how to run a tape and measure.
I'll send you all that stuff tomorrow, Dave. I'll send the whole.
Okay,
board all the
I
stuff.
would say send it electronically to
Yep.
the other board members as well. Okay.
Do you have the plan that we drew up?
No.
Okay.
Do we have a land court decision saying that he isn't? So the decision is what he's hanging his hat on?
But his encroachment is way beyond that piece.
Our surveyor went and interpreted the decision.
Yeah, but if the surveyor didn't research title to find out if the original piece of property had been land courted, that private party, he couldn't take it from. And we know he can't take it from municipal property once
Well, it
bought.
went to court, and the judge decided that this is what he gets.
Oh, so it has been through land
Been to
court?
court.
Okay, there's been an order of the court, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
Beyond that.
I was driving
Good point,
at.
yep, okay. Well, you would have been on the board.
Now,
to say
listen,
Wait a minute.
the last time we met up there with the fire chief and all them
Yeah.
guys, they had Stembeck and Taylor up there that was gonna do some, to get the exact points we need.
that. Okay.
Now, is that gonna be different than the one Millbrook did?
Well, I mean, I would just get Millbrook, because they've already done the research, and they've already staked it out once.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, then we better talk to Andrew, because.
But I don't even know if Millbrook is still in business right now.
I don't
Tell you
know
the
if he
truth,
is
it's
either.
not
well, reach out
mine.
to find out if he is still in business, and if he is, then approach.
When I first heard it, I sent Andrew the copy of the plan.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So, I mean, I
Because
think he would,
he had Brian from Stembeck and Taylor up there,
Yeah.
going over.
as soon as I heard it,
Well,
I
I
sent him
would-
the plan, because it was
I
kind of
would-
a waste.
I'll delegate it to you to ask the question of Andrew,
All right.
okay? Because, Millbrook has already done a survey. If they are still in business, it should pay to just use them, because they already have their waypoints and the locations.
Absolutely.
But he might be up in Maine
Yeah.
and not coming.
Well, if he's no longer here in residence, then he's out of luck.
Right.
Okay, but we can proceed in that manner. I'll leave it to you to work it out with Jimmy if it's going to be Steinbeck and Taylor.
So
Okay.
this might be out of the scope of the item, but we had discussed, not just the encroachment, but removing the utilities at some point and,
Yeah.
and bringing it back to nature.
Yeah, and the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody has pursued with Eversource, because they still own that equipment. Because when we were purchasing that property, initially we were going to try to take it for salvage, but then we were informed that they still owned the equipment back when we purchased that property
Yeah,
in
so-
2010 timeframe. So that has to be an answered question. I can't picture at this point in time that they would want it for anything other than scrap.
So we should probably at least reach out to Eversource to determine if it's surplus and so that we can come up with a plan to de-energize that system.
I believe, if memory serves me correctly, Mike Pizik did de-energize at the start, at the first of the transformers.
When you first come into the books.
Right.
I think so.
That's my memory, that we had him at one point in time do that.
So then we could create a project of what else we want to do out there.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure we can get a contractor in, Mike himself probably, nobody else, to remove the material, just because the value of scrap copper has not gone down.
Yeah, right.
Well, we could put it out to bid to have someone come in and do it. There's a
Yeah, well, I mean,
salvage project, is my point.
If the material is declared surplus and Eversource says take it, I guess the question becomes, does that become the province of the Board of Selectmen, who are the authorized parties for selling surplus property? that's
But we
belonging to
bought the
town.
land and we own everything that's on the land.
We have the control and custody, but I don't know that we own the parcels. I
It's
mean,
water supply land.
It's water supply land, but it is under our control and custody. Only the town owns land, as we
Yeah,
have heard
okay.
more than once from,
Either way, we need to
Right.
flush some of this out
Yeah.
and come up with a project so that we can turn it back to
yeah.
a natural state.
And the bottom line is that any salvage should come to us because it was paid for strictly out of water enterprise funds.
Yeah.
That would be the approach we take with the town council, with the town
But we need to
administration.
come up with, we need to do some research and come up with a project.
Yep. Okay. When we hit indirect costs, I'm going to ask you, forbearance, gentlemen, to, any comments you want to make, John, go. But my bottom line is, between some personal items and the Metuxet Wood ongoing process, I did not get as much scrivening done as I had hoped to do.
No, well, we still need to work on either it's a direct cost or an indirect cost.
Yeah.
So we'll need a time frame this summer
Yeah.
to do that. So we can put it off till our next meeting.
I will try to do I will do my level best to have something in
Yeah.
draft form on the 11th.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The
Well-
60-40 split, Bob, I'm going to give that one to you.
Question I have is,
Yep.
in the summer, are we actually meeting twice or once?
I don't know, I mean, I don't know.
Well, that is a decision we need to make. Typically, we have only done one meeting unless we've had need for another.
Yeah.
I would actually like to wait and have that decision made in the 11th when hopefully we have our superintendent
Yeah.
back so we can
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
on
yeah.
his issues as well.
Yeah, because we might have to meet.
Yeah, if there's something comes up, yeah.
Yeah, my wife takes a vacation during the summer, that's the reason why.
Oh, that's why the daycare in the summer goes up in price.
Yeah, whatever, it's like, hey,
That was too easy a shot, I couldn't pass it up. Okay,
So
so,
now we have these
the
60-40.
60-40 split, Bob,
Yeah, pass this down to,
yep,
I gave you one.
yes, you did. Okay. This is on the real estate aspects of why we think we have a case on the cost increases that we have experienced.
This one here, it's 12 Monitor Road. It's less than 5,000 square feet. It went from, in 2015, it went from 178, 2021 to 489,000.
Yep.
It's almost 150%. It actually sold for 2.4 million. And the other one I talked about at the previous meeting on Foster, that lot was only 3,700 square feet, and that went, that almost doubled in cost. So there's actually thousands of these properties that have
Understood.
brought in the tax base a tremendous amount of money. So
Yeah.
we need to proceed with the selectmen or the town treasurer or somebody to understand how much the sewer has benefited the town for the tax base, the base.
I agree, and I guess,
There's 1,000 of these.
yeah, okay. I actually, he hasn't gotten back to me, but I
it's
did
actually
reach
more
out.
than 1,000, John, if you come down to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
There's
just saying.
10,000 households in this town,
Yeah.
and, there's 4,000
Roughly half is.
is on sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, the approach is, I actually have a request to Mr. Darcy to talk on another subject, so I will add this to the list when I talk to him.
Fine, that's perfect.
All right? I will take that into
I
action item.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And.
Thank you, John, for looking this up.
Yeah, appreciate it. And we're passing over the minutes,
Right?
okay, and Anne Marie's request, because she didn't get there. And next meeting is July 11th, 2022. And I guess I would now ask, Rod, you gave a brief update to the sewer system, but Mr. Shaughnessy wasn't here. If you want to do a quick recap on where we are with Plymouth Avenue for his benefit.
Okay, yeah.
Tom's already filled me in, you don't have to.
Okay, then we're all set. Okay.
So
Jim,
we're online right now.
why don't you fill us in on all of the operational issues?
Right now, we're getting ready for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And my question is to Rod, is that Plymouth Ave going to be open by the 4th of July with the roadway?
I know we're gonna have the temporary piping out of the way and pumps probably within the next 2 days, so I would say yes.
All right, because you know how traffic is coming 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's terrible
Well, I
down
know the people down there, they want us to keep it closed.
there. Yeah,
The
they do.
the one caution I'd make on that, Jim, is look to see what we have for material, where if there's any location where we might have to cover a section of trench with a plate, to make sure we, you know,
Make
can
sure-
make sure we
make
can
sure
50
it's
or
all
100
half.
feet, something like
Tomorrow,
that.
we're gonna be filling a floor with fill, so
Oh,
those
okay.
trenches should all be
Very good.
at least plated, they'll be all plated.
Very good.
Uh,
And we're getting ourselves set up for the, police department called me today about getting wood off of old wreck sand.
Yep.
So we'll be setting up for that,
Okay.
which will be probably Thursday or
Okay,
Friday.
so- And we usually keep a call crew for the evenings of the
Yes.
weekend, long
I'll have
weekend.
it out in third and the fourth,
Okay,
picking up rubbish,
yeah.
make sure it's all cleaned up. All over the floor.
Very good. The only thing I would say, 965, I believe they only have one section of flooring to pour now.
They're gonna be pouring Thursday.
On this Thursday.
They're gonna be doing the.
That's the last
equipment
section in that area.
maintenance. Yes.
Yeah, so
Then-
we're progressing there, and
Yeah.
within a few weeks, we expect to see the steel delivery begin arriving.
He said
The
the
siding-
middle of August.
Huh?
He said the middle of August.
Well,
so we'll
but
see.
I believe some of the sheet plate may arrive sooner, the corrugated sheet.
That would be good.
Yeah, it would
Yeah, when
be.
I was talking to Peter today, he said middle of August, hopefully the steel's gonna start being delivered. And, the vehicle maintenance will be all poured by then, and the main building for the trucking, for our trucks will be all poured.
And it looked like we were completing the water connection the other day?
Water, they did water today.
Yep.
So the water's all inside the building.
Good, okay. And the other thing,
Gas company, we're still not sure on yet, I haven't
Right.
heard anything about it.
now, I have not heard anything of the gas company. I did reach out to a gentleman named John Cope Flanagan, who is one of the legal staff at the Mass DPU, to see if he couldn't put me on to somebody that might help us motivate Eversource to respond. He has not gotten back to me, I just made that call today. After not getting an email, I figured I'd try his phone, because I know DPU, like a number of other state offices, is still doing some of its work remotely.
And they're going to continue to do so.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is, I reached out to the town administrator and got the gas usage for 35 Parsonage, because one of the issues that Eversource has been supposedly stating is they're concerned about capacity. And we used an average of 140,955 therms of gas over 2018 and 2019 at 35 Parsonage. To put that in perspective, the facility we purchased at 965 and upgraded the furnace, the radiant heaters in the garage space, among other things, only used, and I had to do an estimate of June for this month by using last June's therms, only used 6,181 therms, which means it's roughly 43.8% of what 35 Parsonage used on an annualized basis. And I have reached out by email to J.P. Parnavas of Weston and Sampson, asking him to provide us their estimate of the number of BTUs that would be required for maintaining our building, you know, for a full year. Because I believe that we're going to see that the combined facilities are going to come in at a lower gas usage than the old 35 Parsonage did by itself.
So are they complaining that they don't want to provide gas for us because it...
They supposedly made statements to Weston and Sampson earlier on, and to PMA, I guess, together, that they were concerned about capacity. We are on 3965 Plain Street. We are at the start of the gas mains running into town. So capacity is not our issue, it is the downstream issue that they're talking about. There was an issue on gas supply capacity when they were testing the generator at the new senior center. And basically, it caused a collapse in the gas line by pulling it back in Webster Street.
Really?
Which they had to open up right at the cut going in. The Daniel Webster facility, I believe, is where it happened. So it is a concern, but I don't picture on the high pressure line that we're on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a high pressure line, so
And then the other thing is, we are not using it for the generator. We have a diesel generator for
Yeah.
our facility. Because I like the independence from the natural gas, if we can help it. We already have natural gas at 965, simply because it's convenient. We didn't have any place to put a diesel tank basically at the time. You know, and in the worst case scenario,
It's just
if
a high
we-
pressure line.
Yeah.
It actually probably is 3/4 inch.
I believe it's a 1 inch, but I won't
All right,
swear
1
that,
inch,
John.
yeah.
It's a good sized line.
Yeah.
It was high, larger than I expected, for a high pressure gas line. It might have been 2, I don't
I think
recall.
it's-
Someplace in my notes it's buried. I think it's 2 inch, but someplace, no, I think it is, and you know where you're gonna find it?
I think it
In
is.
Mike's proposal on the generator, because he had the sizing of the
Right.
gas line.
That's right.
That's where it was. I know I read it.
So it's a 2-inch high pressure line.
Pretty sure, yes.
Yeah.
So they should easily have enough gas to,
Sure.
yeah.
Did you have anything to add, Ron, at this
I'm
point in time? Okay.
Make
You know,
a
the only
motion.
other thing I might have is, you know, the planning board did meet last night. They did choose to proceed with the extension on Jedediah's Path, eliminating the cul-de-sac. And that is another item in which I want to have a conversation with Mr. Darcy about on proceeding forward, to see if we can have something that might sweeten the blow that came to the two abutters on the cul-de-sac itself. That's where that stands.
Grant Rock seawall is.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yep.
Substantial completion. I think we're gonna do a walkthrough on Thursday.
Yep.
So they pretty much cleaned up the parking lot. There's a little bit of, there's a little toolbox down there. And
We did have, and I will mention that too, the superintendent's kind of aspect is that, you know, we had issues, the most recent, because of changes in regulations, FEMA and BEMA, with where, you know, we're dealing with some decks abutting the seawall that were not basically permitted in the past, and that has been, you know, something that the next section of seawall is probably too late to try and get ahead of the game, but I want to work with Tom and Reynolds and through the building inspector, you know, and the planning board, you know, to make sure that as we go into our going forward sections, that we give people foreknotice that if they haven't had a approved, you know, deck that abuts the seawall, they're going to need to have to get one, okay? Otherwise, it will not get replaced. That's where that sits, and you all right, Bob?
Yeah, just like every asthma issue. It's,
Okay.
Would you care for a copy? No? Okay.
No, thanks.
Make a
All right,
motion.
I will make a motion to adjourn with our next meeting on July 11th,
We're just having
2022.
fun.
Well, next time, stay in the room, you have more fun.
No, that's easy.
Second.
Do I have a second? Yep, we do. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, good night.
All right.